want to get this out pretty quick there.
Box.
57 seconds.
No, we've not had a war so.
Watch this now. This is all about them telling you World War III is coming. Like we've been telling you, and we've been telling you here, the assassination of the Antichrist, the Revelation deadly wound. Excuse me, the Revelation 13 deadly wound of the Antichrist. And we know who it is. President 45. When he goes down, it'll kick off World War III. We've been saying that because that's the crowning, that's the white horse, and then comes red horse, black horse, pale horse. Now watch how they tell you without telling you.
Box. And no, we've not had a war so far.
We haven't had a war yet, but
when you look what's happening right now, tensions rising, and there could be a war in the future.
There could be a war.
Yeah.
Could be a war in the future. Now, of course, he's playing dumb. This is all scripted. And he doesn't even do a good job of acting. He sits back and kind of kicks back. And I have to stop this so I don't get a copyright strike from it.
With us?
Between the US and China. Yes, absolutely.
US and China. Woo, woo, woo. World War III. The two big superpowers go at it, which affects the entire earth.
Really? I mean, that would
Really? I mean, that would be devastating. Bad acting right there, folks.
be cataclysmic.
Can't even say cataclysmic. Couldn't get it out. Bad acting.
But I think both countries, that would be cataclysmic. That would be cataclysmic. That would be cataclysmic.
Couldn't even say cataclysmic. Couldn't get it out. In other words, he tripped over his line. You don't trip over a line when you're speaking naturally. But when you're reading from a script, you can definitely trip over yourself. And that's what he did. He tripped right over himself because he knew that's what he was going to say and he couldn't get it out. It's basically choking under pressure. It happens to actors all the time, stage act, whatever.
Both countries know that
both countries know. He couldn't get it out. Both countries know you can't go to war. How simple was that? Well, good grief! If China and America go to a war, that would be cataclysmic. That would be World War III across the whole earth. He couldn't say it. He couldn't get it out.
No, but here's the issue. So
he froze, and you see how his eyes froze because he knows she's the shot caller of this particular topic. Anyway, this is her story to deliver, and his job was just to kind of bounce off what she was saying back to her. And then he finally just gave it back to her because he couldn't even get anything out.
They both know, but here's the issue. It's a bit
Now I'm going to do the talking, buddy.
like the start of World War I, and that's the...
What'd you say about World War I? That's when the assassination of Franz Ferdinand took place.
They both know, but here's the issue. It's a bit like the start of World War I, and that's the...
It's a bit like the start of World War I. And that's what started World War I was an assassination.
Historical memory that worries so many people in the Pentagon. Because you go back to the Cold War between the US and the Soviet Union.
Did y'all see how they snuck that in?
And you had a hotline between the two countries. They could talk pretty easily. The problem today
is we don't talk to China. Scripted. They're all actors.
That people aren't talking enough about is actually the hotline between Washington and Beijing is pretty broken.
Why? How easy is that to fix? Hey, man, sorry, we had a president who was a little crazy. But hey, let me solve it for you. But no, see, because he's the president of ineptitude, Robin is. Joseph Robinette Biden. Middle name is Robin. Trump looked at the camera and said, I am Batman.
And
he's the billionaire from Gotham, because he's the billionaire from New York City, fighting crime like Bruce Wayne. Trump's fighting the deep state cabal. Dark Knight Rises, Trump goes down. And what happens? Tanks in the streets. American flag is shredded in The Dark Knight Rises.
Backdrop, which made people like General Milley so concerned.
Ooh, General Milley, like they're not all in on it.
That you could have an accident like at the beginning of World War I.
Again, an accident. An accident like at the beginning of World War. I thought it was the assassination of Franz Ferdinand. An accident like at the what?
That you could get an accident like at the beginning of World War One, and suddenly everything will spin out of control.
Really? You mean after the white horse, you're going to get a red horse, black horse, and pale horse? Everything's going to spin out of control? Really?
Yes.
And she smiles. She's like, how did I do? I did pretty good, didn't I? It's so funny.
Spin out of control.
Yes.
They can't keep a straight face. They all have a place to go. They ain't sweating nothing.
Well, see, this is why I don't eat pot anymore.
The box.
Folks, all the world's a stage. I knew you ought to get a kick out of that.